think we have to start kind of in the layer that we usually encounter, which is the story. And this is the narrative that we generate to try to digest the energy. And as you point out, try to manage it. And so that story that is sort of generated by the monkey mind is constantly trying to say, okay, this is what I'll do with this energy. But in that story, the story becomes more and more disconnected from what we're calling the thing itself. And now it's she doesn't love me, or she loves me too much, or I'm going to lose my job, or I want to quit my job, or I can't pay my bills, or I have too much money. Right? We go into the story of that energy. And this is where we occupy ourselves. So the question you're asking, I think, is, all right, I put that story aside, but I still have this distance from the energy. And how do I collapse that? Right? Is that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah, it's true. Like almost like um and putting the thoughts aside cannot happen for a long time because like the energy has like there's a numbness towards the energy. Like
Mm.
I can feel like, okay, obviously there's a lack of trust, there's fear of being trapped in the situation, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But being with it is like behind a wall. It doesn't really get too close.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think so when we talk about the thing itself, we're talking about what we do have contact with. So if what I have contact with is the story, the narrative, where does that actually live? Where is it? So I can't find that story anywhere. It's like trying to hold a soap bubble, like you can't do it because when you touch it, it disappears. So the narrative doesn't actually have any substance. It's a story that we can tell in so many different ways. We can make it a spiritual story. Oh, I'm having this energy and it's so enlightening, or I have this energy, I'm so afraid, or I have this energy and I'm so confused, I need to go to a therapist to sort it out. Right? So there's so many ways you can storify that, and none of it really has any substance to it. So when we attend to that story, it appears that it disappears. Or to put it another way, we start to see that there's space. There's nothing there. And in that space, we may notice what we're calling the energy. This is a quality. It has some sort of shape or feeling quality, expansiveness, contraction, focus, unfocus. And we say, well, I'm watching that, I'm seeing that, but I'm not in that. So now, what do I actually have contact with? What's the thing itself in that perspective? So there I basically have distance. Something is away from or projecting that energy. So what is that? So I say, oh, that's me. That's my awareness. That's the mindfulness that I've trained myself to have through sitting on cushions or like going to seminars or whatever. So now I have contact with mindfulness, but I notice that the thing itself, that is the object of that awareness, is not something I can actually feel. So this is what you're calling numbness. Now I start to see that awareness is actually numbness. Awareness is a way of disassociating from the thing itself, but it is the thing itself. So what is disassociation as the thing itself? What is that quality? And this is where you go into the ghost world. You're in a ghost world where you can't feel anything. There's just the unfeeling of attention. And that's a really comfortable place for a lot of people because there's no challenge if you don't feel anything. It's like taking a sedative. You can sleep through your life if you want. At some point that feeling of numbness either returns to the story because it's a good movie. I know I've seen it before, but I don't have any date tonight. I'm alone, so I'll just watch that movie. So it's like, okay, now I got a plan. I'm going to like fix this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Right. So now we're back into the mind. If I'm tired of the story and I'm tired of the numbness, then the numbness and the story collapse because they're not actual into what we can say is the actuality, the actual thing itself. That's energy. And that energy is different than the awareness of the energy. And it's certainly different than the story of the energy. That energy doesn't have any shape or form to it. It doesn't have any um, way of controlling it. It is unbridled movement and dynamic. And that you can basically merge with, but you can't control it. You can't know it. You can't have it. All you can see is the manifestation of it, which may turn out to be numbness again, or the story. So, in the collapse of the numbness of the story into that energy, then you're in an energy movement. You're just in energy. That's it. And it's not you're in it, the energy is you. And then the question is, what is that? What is the creation that comes from that? What's the manifestation? And then you can start to see it building you back out again. And now the question is, can you be, who you are, whatever that is, and even have your story, even have your numbness, but have it informed by the energy, connected to the energy, moving from the energy, and noticing also that that energy is moving in others. And now we have a collaborative knowledge of that energetic movement. So to me, that's the transformation. Is like it's the same quality of the individuation, but informed by this transpersonal energetic space. And I don't think once having collapsed into that, you can ever escape that actually. You can't lose that. You can be numb to it, but the numbness is informed by the energy. Sometimes the energy creates numbness.